I want to make this video. I'm trying to make it quick as possible. Shout out to everybody. Your boy is back. I've had the Marantz Cinema 50 receiver, Onkyo RZ50. I still have the Denon 3800H. I still have Yamaha A2A. I've had a lot of receivers. You know what I mean? Like a Denon 960. Like, you know, just super low end. I had a lot of different things, right? Right now, I've got an Anthem 1140 receiver, and I think that thing is very, very good. You know, I mean, it's expensive. It's about $4,200. It's expensive, but I think it does an amazing job with movies and sound. Well, I get the upgrade bug every once in a while. I just like buying stuff, and it's crazy. I know, I get it, but I bought the Anthem AVM90 because I kept seeing people, I think it was like Youth Man, talking about separates versus receivers, and all these different people having different opinions on the receivers versus the separates. Oh, the separates is so much better. It sounds so much clearer, more detailed, yada, yada, yada. Everybody's talking about that, right? And I'm like, it can't be that much better, right? So about 7 months ago, I went ahead and I got the Anthem AVM90, right? Because I'm like, if it sounds really good, maybe I'll end up getting a Trent off later on down the road, but let me get more comfortable with this and see. So I went ahead, I got a whole bunch of amps, and then it came in. I got the AVM90, and immediately I heard the difference. I think it was like I played Dune 2, and it was like the beginning, like action scene, right? Not the beginning, but it was like when they're like, it's like this crawler thing, and you got like this orthopter, whatever, you know, trying to like shoot down at them or whatever, and they're trying to shoot it down, and a lot going on in the scene, right? And I've watched this scene a million times, like on my Marantz Cinema 50, on the Anthem 1140, tons of times, right? But when I got that AVM90, I heard a lot of things that I didn't hear before. You know, the separates processor opened up that scene. It was like things sounded more holographic, gang, like way more holographic. Like even like this, you know, you can hear the sand kind of like rolling off of them, like when they come up out of the ground on different receivers and stuff. I mean, you can kind of hear it. On that Anthem AVM90 separates processor, it's loud. Like it's just like, you can hear things like on them, like they're walking around, you hear, you know, or when they're in the orthopters, like in, I think it was Dune 1 or Dune 2. I think it may have been Dune 1. The guy's like in the orthopter, he's in there with his mom, and you can hear the sand like on the exterior of the orthopter, whatever it's called, like this beating on it, like loud, like beating on it, like crazy. While he's like talking, I think he was talking to his mom or something like that. He's in there. And on the 1140, the Marantz Cinema 50, the Denon 3800H, it's like, you can kind of hear it, but it's not like that, right? Whereas like the separates processor, it's like every little sound is like separated and pushed towards you, you know. A big difference I heard, like super big, like the movie Interstellar, right? One of the greatest movies of all time. The wormhole, entering the wormhole scene, and then when they land on the planet, I can't remember what the planet's called, right? But when they enter the wormhole, the Anthem 1140 sounds phenomenal. But the AVM90 is just like, it's so jarring because makes you feel like, because the sounds are like so holographic, like even though that's not Atmos, you know, you're gonna upmix it, you know what I mean? It is what it is, Neural X. It's just like every little minute sound from a metal part moving is pushed forward. And it's so jarring that you feel like you're actually in the ship with them, you know? And then when he comes down and he's like, you know, he, you know, they go to land on the planet with the water. Like, it's like every time you hear a sound, it's like years past or whatever. But when he's like, you hear the water, you hear it's crazy. Like the the Separate processor is just phenomenal. Like when I watched A Quiet Place day one, you know, I would watch it on receivers and I'm like, oh, this sounds good. The Separate processor, oh my God. Like when they are, I think they're like in a sewer, like underground or something. And the creature is like kind of running towards him, but he's like on the ceiling, he's running towards him. Like all of the water, like all of the sounds around it, the air, like you hear everything on the Separate processor, whereas like a receiver is focusing on like a lot of the key elements that's going on in the scene sound wise. Whereas like I feel like it's just so much more sound everywhere, like with the AVM90 and the Separate processor. I mean, I could go on like different movies, Ghost in the Shell, when Scarlett Johansson, she's standing on top of the building and it's like a fan that's rotating around. It's kind of like a central air thing, but it's like a fan rotating around. On a receiver, you know it's there, but on a Separate processor, it's like in your face. It's like you can't, it's like, woo, woo, like you can't miss it. You know what I mean? And then like it's so many sounds, like even when you're watching Alien Romulus, right? And you're trying to A/B test between the Anthem AVM90, the 1140, and you going back to different receivers and you're trying to A/B test. And it's like Alien Romulus, like you would hear people say, oh, this sounds super creepy, like who may have a trend off or something. Oh, you can hear all these little sounds everywhere. On the 1140, you hear some of it. Cinema 50, barely hear, you know, it's not really that great with separated sounds. They can do a good job, but not great, right? I think the 1140 did a little bit better than the Cinema 50. But on like the AVM90, it's just like you hear everything, dog. It's like, it's crazy. It's almost like a trend off, like to where I think that the AVM90 sounds so good, like you don't have to get a trend off. Like it's just that close. Where I think the trend off sounds a little bit more push forward with some sounds, but it's so close. It's not worth paying that like $10,000 extra to get a trend off because it's like it's so close. You know, like if you are used to like, let's just say I've heard like a lot of Denon A1Hs. A lot of people rave about them, like, oh, the A1H. If you listen to an AVM90 after hearing a Denon A1H, you're gonna think that A1H is like a Walmart receiver, bro. Like that's how difference of a sound it is. Like my girl, we were watching, I forget which movie it was. We went to Cedia, and it was an SVS room, and they had, and I know speakers and all of that play like a big part as well, but they had a Denon A1H, and they take this Denon A1H around with them like to a lot of different shows or whatever. And they were like running through like a bunch of movie scenes, and I'm like, I'm telling her, I'm like, you know how like you can't hear this and this and this from this scene? And she's like, man, this thing sounds really muddy. Like everything's just blended together. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, now, you know, when we go back home, like you're gonna hear, and then you go back home, you listen to a movie, everything is perfectly separated, and it's insane. You know what I mean? What the Separate processor can do. So I've been running my AVM90 for about 7 months, right? This is not sponsored. I'm a super difficult, you know what I mean? Like customer, if you market something to be something and I feel like it's not, I'm gonna make a video about it, talk about it, hey, what you saying it is, all of that. I've got like a kaleidoscope. I got all kind of stuff, right? You know, 4K, Blu-ray players, like all of that. And they're hooked up to my receivers, you know what I mean? And my, I've got a two Panasonic UB820s, only got one kaleidoscope. I'll take it back and forth, right? It's so big of a difference in sound with the Separate processor. Like when you hear Youth Man like tell you like, yeah, before I'm like, oh, is he just like saying stuff just to make a video? Like when he tells you like how much detail retrieval there is with these Separate processors versus receivers, he's not lying. He's not lying at all. Like, you know, it's just, it feels like to me when I listen to a AVM90, it feels almost like I've got a hi-fi Rose hooked up to a 7.2.6 system. And it's like, that's what it sounds like to me. You know what I mean? It's just like the music sounds really holographic, clean, clear. Even in the movies, everything is perfectly. If you got 7 sound layers, like it's different things going on. You hear each, like Tron Ares, it's a lot going on. 9 Inch Nails, you know, he's driving through like the grid on like some kind of like jet ski thing. Like you can hear everything with the Separate processor, every little thing, even his foot on the peg, you can hear everything. Whereas like receivers, you hear stuff, but it's not as forward in your face to where you can super separate every little thing. So I feel like now that I've done the Separate processor, I don't want to go back. I think that the Anthem 1140 is the closest thing that just gives me like, man, this sounds really good. You know, and that's why I still kept it. I've got that in the house, and you know what I mean? I still got my AVM90. The 1140, I think, does a really good job. Like a cinematic sound, like this really, really good. But it's just this Separate's process is just another level. So after 7 months of me going back and like, even I feel like the Anthem AVM90, let's say I'm watching something on Netflix, right? In the house, it sounds good. You know what I mean? Like the 1140 is gonna make it sound good. But like Stranger Things, I feel like season 1 of Stranger Things, I didn't like the mix, right? In the house, like the bass is just too much. Like in the movie, like they need to dial it back. It's just, you know, I don't think they were worried about the audio in the first season of Stranger Things, right? Sounds good, but it's like the bass is just too much, so I have to like reduce the subwoofers a little bit. But on the AVM90, it's just so clean. Like every little thing is so clean. And now streaming is getting to a point to where it's very close to 4K UHD. Like a lot of streams look so good. Like it's almost there. You know, with bandwidth limitations and stuff like that, they got to prioritize like visuals over sound a lot of times, like with streaming. But I feel like it's so close now, you know, but I feel like the AVM90 can make an HBO movie, like or a Max movie, or like even a Prime Video movie, a Netflix movie sound insane. Like, you know, you don't even like, you think, I mean, you know, 4K UHD, I mean, it's gonna sound really good. True HD sound really good, right? Kaleidoscope, True HD, all it's gonna sound really good. But the AVM90, it's like almost like you don't even have to buy like a disc for some of these movies because it sounds so good. You know, so I like the 1140, like it's a little bit unforgiving. Like if it's a bad mix, like it's gonna like reveal that. You know what I mean? Like it's a bad mix. Whereas like the AVM90 will clean it up. You know what I mean? But if it's like a movie that's mixed really well, and you play that thing on the 1140, you're going to be in for a good time. You know what I mean? So I think the 1140 is good. The receiver is really good. The only thing I don't really recommend the Anthem 1140, even though I love the way it sounds, is because it bothers me that they have an internal amp that controls the height, you know, or the ceiling speakers to where you only get like 60 watts of amplification. Like I don't like that. I didn't think it was a big deal until like I listened to, what was it? The Invisible Man, the rain scene. Whereas on the Anthem AVM90, the rain is just like all around you. It's like super crazy. Like it's just like, it feels like it's falling on you. And it's, you know, super like crisp and everything. You know, and on the 1140 is there. It sounds good. You know, you think it sounds good until you hear like a Separate processor that can utilize like all of the amplification or like explosions and stuff, like the after effects of explosions. Like with the AVM90, obviously you're using like all of the amplification like from your amp. It just sounds like way more like dynamic and clean. So I don't know. I think there is a difference. I think there's a big difference. It's not subtle. I think it's a big difference. You know, I do know that AVM90 is using like a really good DAC. You know what I mean? So the circuitry, the The transistors are like higher end. It's a shorter pathway for everything to the electricity to flow. So, I mean, it's going to sound a lot better, you know, but is it by miles versus a receiver? Yes, I think it is. I think it's, I mean, my 1140 sounds so good. It's like, you know, but, you know, if you listen to like a Denon, what is it, 6400 or an A1H, like, and then you go to like, even like if you listen to a Marantz AV10, it's going to sound like way different. You know what I mean? So it's, I don't know. I think it's worth it. I wish I would have just went with separates. That way I could have avoided buying all these processors. It would have just been better. You know what I mean? So if I was y'all, if you can afford Anthem, get an Anthem. Marantz is good. I mean, I've had it. Denon's is good. I've had it. You know what I'm saying? Onkyo RZ50 is okay. It's better than some Denons. The Yamaha, I don't really like it. You know what I mean? But if you can afford an Anthem, get an Anthem. Get an Anthem. If you can afford a Trinoff, get a Trinoff. The only reason I didn't get a Trinoff is because I can't deal with the audio sync delay issues. Like 10 seconds before I hear audio, 8 to 10 seconds. That's crazy. I play video games and stuff. Like, I can't be missing audio. The AVM90, I think the price is, I thought it was crazy at first. Now, after listening to Storm Audio and Trinoff and hearing what the AVM90 can do, like, I don't think it's priced bad. I think it's fair. Video games like Call of Duty, like the audio is just insane on it. You know what I mean? Like, or Battlefield's like really good on it. I play a lot of Mortal Kombat. You know, the audio on the AVM90 is just really good. Like it reproduces everything really good. Kaleidoscape sounds insane on it. You know, it sounds really good on my 1140 as well. You know what I mean? But like any 4K UHD you throw at it, just be prepared to every time you watch a movie, especially like a scary movie. So you're gonna be like this. Like it's gonna sound that good. You're gonna be like shocked, you know. And you know, when I'm playing games, like I've got like a gaming rig or whatever, you know, sometimes I listen to video games through my Audeze Maxwells if I'm on my PC. You know, those are like audiophile grade gaming headphones, sound really good, you know what I mean? But if I'm going to be playing it on my TV or playing in a room with like one of my anthems, I'm using the Anthem, you know, because it sounds that good, you know, and I don't feel like there's any lag with audio or nothing. I think it's just perfect, you know. So that's my thoughts on it. After all of the updates of the AVM90 and the 1140, they're not like they used to be buggy, because you know their primary thing with the Anthem was audio quality. You know, I felt like the Marantz and Denon was always more reliable in terms of like when you hit something, it works. You know, when you switching inputs and everything, like if you got a bunch of stuff hooked up, it just works almost 100% of the time with the Denons or the Denons and the Marantz, whereas the Anthem is struggled sometimes with different things like switching inputs. But with all the updates, I mean, I don't really have any issues with it at all. Like very rarely do I have a missed like input or anything. Like it's really good. So that's my thoughts, man. Like let me know what else. It's just people keep DMing me, hitting me up, like asking me separates processor receiver. Do you regret it? What do you think? I think I should have just went with a separates processor in the beginning. I would have saved a lot of trouble. A lot of money, a lot of everything. You know what I'm saying? Just if you can, get that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm out, y'all. Peace.